Hello again, this is Nick Roach, and I'm going to call this little talk the Emotion Whisperer. Now, you may have heard or even watched the great episodes, the series on television called The Dog Whisperer by an amazing chap called Cesar Millan. He runs what I believe is called the Dog Psychology Unit or Centre. And at the start of each show, he is heard describing what he does as rehabilitates dogs and trains people. He rehabilitates dogs, he trains people. And it's quite amazing, having spent a lot of time as a child with dogs. I think they had a farm, and he spent time out in the shed where the dogs were kept, in the enclosure, warehouse, I don't know, and got to understand the dog's body language and the psychology. So it's part of him now. He hasn't just learnt it, he feels it, he knows it, he understands it. Now, I'm calling this talk the Emotion Whisperer because I want to liken and relate what we're doing with regards to dissolving emotion to how Caesar teaches people to deal with dogs. It's amazingly similar. The main example that struck me is when Caesar is helping a family with a dog that's extremely territorial, dominating, aggressive, and the people are either used to defending their position and coming forward attacking the dog, or giving way and letting the dog take control. He teaches both of those are the incorrect way to deal with a dog in that state of mind. If one comes forward and tries to tell the dog off, as in an aggressive way attacking the dog, the fear in the dog, whatever it is that's creating this need to fight, is being exacerbated, encouraged. Even though you're beating the dog, that energy is still inside it, but it becomes fear and more likely to be defensive. And likewise, if you give the dog space and think, oh no, I'm not going near it because it'll attack me, the dog learns that I'm in control here. I only have to growl and snarl, snap, and I get my way. And again, the people backing off, that's exactly what happens. And they're reaffirming and reinforcing that behaviour and that energy in the dog. Why am I talking about the dog? Because I'm amazed at the similarity. To get to the point, when some negative emotion comes up inside me, inside you, but inside me, the usual way to deal with it is a lot like when people are dealing with the dog. They either allow it to take them over, and they do go with it, whatever it wants to do, lash out, scream, shout, whatever it is, run the mind, make the mind, the thinking, the emotions go all over the place. It takes over and it becomes stronger, or they try and suppress it and hold it, as in holding a dog back. And again, the emotion, the energy is still there. They haven't dealt with it. The energy of the dog is still there if you suppress the energy. And the emotion is still there if you try and avoid it and suppress it. Neither of these work with animals, with dogs, and nor when dealing with one's own emotion. So what does Cesar Millan teach then? And why is it so similar? Well, he teaches when one has a dog and it stands and growls and it's occupying that space, to step forward up to the dog to the point that it's growling, but not go any further, not touch it, not antagonize it, not run away, but not go any further, and just hold that calm energy in oneself. Just hold the energy. And the dog, in the examples in television, but to me it's the same as the emotion, the dog first snarls, but then because the person is not coming at it and attacking it, it has no need to actually take the next stage and bite. But the person's not walking away either. But it's not a threat. And you'll see the dog very quickly, usually, drop its head, look away, stop snarling. At that moment, Caesar will take one step forward, occupying its space. And again the dog will growl, not happy that its space is being taken off it. But again, it's not being threatened, it's not being attacked. It's just the calm, dominant energy from, in this case, the dog whisperer, being held. And the dog feels the calm energy, it's not being attacked, it's not being threatened, and again will stop snarling, drop its head and relax, and again Caesar takes a step forward, occupies its space. And that can keep going till eventually the person has occupied all the space that the dog wanted to claim as its own, through doing no more than to watching the energy and just moving into that space, just filling that space. Now, in dealing with emotion, it's exactly the same. When the emotion comes up, unhappiness, anger, fear, jealousy, worry, whatever it is, as well as seeing consciously what I can do, practically what I have to do, never avoid taking action, because that will just feed the emotion. So you've got to take any action one has to do to address the mind saying, but I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Well, then do it. Stop making excuses, get on and do it. Sort it out. You've done what you can. What's left is the emotion, and then you hold it. Stay right up against it, holding the emotion, feeling it like a dog snarling, feeling it, the discomfort, the agitation. So you don't run away and hide, suppress it, and you don't allow it to take you over and you get consumed and your mind and emotions are going everywhere. You just hold yourself, hold the knowledge, hold your being right up against the emotion, and you hold it. And you'll feel the agitation, for it might be for a few minutes, it might be for a few hours, a few days. And what will often happen, if it's quite a big issue you're dealing with, quite a big life change, something quite major has happened, it will be like the dog. It'll drop its head, the energy's gone, and at this moment you think, oh, I've dealt with it. And then it comes back again. You haven't failed. It just, the energy was quite large. Its area, the territory it was occupying, was not just one little bit. So you take a step forward every time you fill that emotion space and you become conscious. That bit of emotion has become conscious. You filled the space. What will happen after a little while, you meet another bit of the emotion, a different bit. You only have to make each bit conscious once. Same with a dog, you only have to occupy that bit of area once, let's say, and then you take another step forward, and with the emotion the same. having occupied the first bit of space, and you think, oh, I feel better now. Well, that's gone. You've moved into that space, and then after a little while you come up against another bit, and you might think, oh, I thought I dealt with it. Well, you had dealt with it, but you've got to keep going. And so again you feel the agitation, the discomfort, but you hold yourself against it. You hold the knowledge, you hold the feeling. Do not let it distract you. And eventually it subsides, and again you filled that space. Now, as with a dog, if you liken the dog to each situation, once you've occupied each bit of area the dog was trying to claim as its own, you won't then probably go around the whole yard and the whole house just doing it randomly. That wouldn't make sense. You only go to the area where the dog is occupying, and the emotion is exactly the same. You can only make the emotion conscious when the emotion is there. You can only occupy that bit of area that the emotion has taken over. You can only make that bit conscious when the emotion is there and you can feel it. Once you've made that bit conscious, and maybe 2 or 3 more if it's come back a few times, and the emotion's gone, the problem's gone, it is no more. You can't make any more emotion conscious at that time. You can practice being as aware as you can, which is great, all the time, even when there's not a problem. But there's no emotion coming up to be exposed. Like there's no dog there to occupy that area, so you can't face the dog and occupy its area. You can only face what's there. So making emotion conscious is really very similar to dealing with a dog that's occupying a bit of land, a bit of territory. We're not attacking it, we're not running away. We're facing it with calm, conscious energy. And the term the Caesar uses for his dogs is you want the calm, submissive energy from a dog. Not agitated and submissive, not fearful, and not calm and aggressive and dominant, but calm and submissive. The dog just bows its head and it's given up. And actually that's a lot less stressful for a dog to do that, for it not to have to be the top dog, not have to be defending itself, because you've taken over that role, and it will give it up to you and be quite relaxed and peaceful because of that. And actually makes the dog more comfortable if it hasn't got to be the top dog. And the emotion's the same. While the emotion all the time thinks it has to defend itself, defend you, but defend itself to be right, to think a certain way, to behave a certain way, to do a certain thing, always got to defend its opinions, its beliefs, and the way it feels, always got to defend. It's very stressful. But the more you can, with the right energy, take over the space, move into the emotion space and become conscious there, the energy will just, the emotion will just drop. It becomes conscious, there's nothing to defend, it's not defending itself, it doesn't need to defend itself. There's a car in the background there. And then one's state of being becomes calmer and more relaxed in your own self. Because just as the dog is more relaxed, because it doesn't have to be top dog, doesn't have to defend itself, as one makes the emotion conscious, that same energy in the person doesn't feel it needs to defend itself anymore. There's no need to defend my right to think or feel or be a certain way. It's irrelevant, it's ludicrous. It doesn't need to defend it, I don't need to defend it, because I'm just being, just conscious. So the I am, the space, the being, the energy behind it all, that becomes one's nature. and the emotion, the ups and downs, has given up. It's relaxed, it's resigned. Any belief or feeling, it has to be in a certain way. So that's what it is to be the emotion whisperer. Occupy the space. Be the calm, dominant energy. And the emotion will become the calm, submissive energy until it dissolves into the I. And there's just being left. Thank you.